Okay, so this is something I wanted to test for a while. It is my Ecoflow Wave 2 air conditioner. And it is, with my handy dandy Govee thermometer, it's, let's see with the glare. It's 85 degrees, 84.8. It was actually 85.1 a second ago. And so now what I have set up, let me show you. Wish there was a little bit more light. Actually, let me go do this. Let me turn the main lights on in the van. So I've got a hybrid work camper van that I use for racing. And this is how I have it set up. Hopefully you can see it. The Wave 2 is set up on a step stool, which is adjustable height. And this is really, really handy because I can set it up higher. I've ordered the very rare additional hoses for the Wave 2, and they are 2.5 meters long, whereas the original ones and most typical air conditioner hoses are 2 meters. So that extra half meter, 1.5 feet, is actually great for the intake because it stretches out. That said, as far as the intake and exhaust, trying to save a little bit of money and doing a proof of concept, I made my own window adapter. I don't know if you can see it. I actually have a very nice, wonderful set of window covers, which I'll just take down here so you can see this a little better. And I just made my own out of masonite and yoga mats, or not yoga mats, but floor tiles that you use to make for home gym. And I just had a whole bunch of extra ones, and I went ahead and cut up one because the foam is dense enough that it'll hold the exhaust hoses, if that makes sense. So I made the masonite hole larger than the actual diameter of the exhaust and intake tube, made the foam holes just slightly smaller than the actual diameter of the hoses. So when you push it through, it holds it in place. And in fact, I'll show you what it looks like outside, if you can see. And now it's kind of blowing, so you'll hear some. But there's a difference in diameter, and that is actually really handy. So it saved me 130 bucks, and more importantly, just to test this whole Wave 2. And the idea here is when in the off chance, the few opportunities I do race and camp overnight. I wouldn't do this for national championships, which are over a week, but overnight or even 2 nights. The idea is to have the Wave 2 here set up just like this. What's nice is having the swivel seat now and kind of being able to sit. Once I get the hoses a little bit longer, I can actually route them a little bit higher, if that makes sense, and still be able to utilize the seat. That said, here is what I really wanted to try, was using my curtains, my blackout curtains, which are insulated with a reflective barrier inside. As you can hear, it's crinkly. The idea is to be able to pull this closed. I have a little, I can kind of kick this back a little bit, as you can see, and basically isolate the cab from the rest of the back of the van, and kind of works like that. When it's lower, it's easier because I can just kind of crimp it and close it off. The added benefit of me getting that extra hose length is being able to use the adapter here on the supply air vent and pipe it 6 meters, which would be right about, 2 meters, which would be 6 feet, right about here, which would be almost where my bed is, which is right over here. And so yeah, so I'm not really wasting any money by buying those hoses, so it works out great. More importantly, that they became in stock, and they're shipping from Germany of all places, which is kind of cool. And also, for those exhaust hoses, I have a set of insulated covers, which I will show you. Insulated covers for the exhaust hoses. These are really nice. They're Velcro around each one. You know, with the intake, it's not that big of a deal, but with the exhaust, it's definitely a big deal. So these are really nice. They're actually 2.5 meters long. So with the regular hoses, they're actually too long, and you kind of have to double them up over, which doubles the insulation. But yeah, so this is the concept of what I wanted to have. And, you know, worst comes to worst, you stick some stuff here to block it off to further isolate the space. And I have just a clip here. And what I do is clip this together, and you'll see that. And it's isolated. You got your return here, your supply here, and let it blow here. So now to the power part. I actually skipped because I honestly didn't think this was going to work. Right now outside it's about 90 degrees. Sun's shining right on the truck. It's only shaded it's south on one side, so it's shaded on this side, but the sun's basically beating down all on the driver's side. I wasn't sure this was going to work, so I didn't want to spend too much money, so I definitely didn't want to buy the dedicated battery for this, because I realized you can use the Delta 2 battery pack, not the the Delta 2 Pro or any of that, just the regular Delta 2. Plug it in with an additional power cable, which I did buy, and run this for probably like at least 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, since this thing draws about 50 amps. Actually now it's drawing, let me see if I can spin this around. Right now it's drawing 30 amps, which I'm kind of surprised. It's actually probably less if I turn off the lights. It's probably drawing about 26 amps. Sorry, spin you back around. You know, with all the power going. Yeah, so, and the inverter, my 2,000 watt inverter actually is very efficient as far as energy. Ooh, this is going to be closed. Crank this up a little bit. Back to the power. So I have a very efficient inverter when it's running idle, less than like an amp, surprisingly. So what I just decided to do is just run the inverter. I have 270 amp hours of battery power. I went ahead and added a mini 100 amp battery under the passenger seat. I have 170 amp, it's odd size, behind the driver's seat. And again, proof of concept, just wanted to see if this would even work. And it seems to be working fine. You know, with 30 amps, I should be able to run this for a while. I went ahead and upgraded my DC to DC charger. I've got 200 watts of solar on the roof. I upgraded my DC to DC charger to the Orion 50 amp. And by running the alternator, I should be able to cool this van down quite nicely. So this is a kind of a cool little, you know, setup I got here. It's saying, yeah, I mean, is it going to heat? Is it going to be able to work when it's 100 degrees out in the sun? No. 5,000 BTUs is nothing. But is it worth having? I think so. The other added advantage of the setup I got was getting the Delta 2 battery was nice because I can use that at home, whereas just if I bought the dedicated battery for the Wave 2, I couldn't use that. So it's nice to have that in the house in case the power goes out and I don't feel like firing up the generator. And more importantly, it's very easy to use, so my wife can use it without having to teach her how to start up the generator. The other thing is, yeah, so it's really nice having that. Oh, the huge advantage of running it off of the the Delta 2, sorry, while I'm doing this, getting a little extra space here, is that it recharges off of 120 in about an hour from fully depleted. So the idea here was to take, use my Delta 2 to power this, and if I was boondocking, be able to take that battery to, a place where I'm racing and just plug it in the wall, and an hour later it's ready to go. Slap it back in here and run it, where I don't have to run the engine or let the van sit out in the sun to try to charge it up. Even again, with the sun, 200 watts of solar, you're only getting, best case, 10 amps of power, whereas the DC-to-DC charger is 50 amps. So best case scenario, running the van with solar on the roof and the amperage from the alternator at 60 amps, and that's pretty good. So right now it is 82.8. It dropped it at least a degree or two, and 55% humidity. So as far as the humidity in the drain, it automatically now defaults into auto drain, but also comes with a corrugated drain tube. And my idea is just basically plug this in, have it go into a bottle, drain bottle like this, and just catch the condensate. Worst case, just let it drain down on the well of the passenger side and let it drain out, because I'm pretty sure that there's a floor drain. That's if I'm being totally lazy, but yeah, a little bottle to catch the condensate, it's not a big deal. Yeah, and the unit is quiet. It's very quiet, even with the inverter running. I'd argue that the inverter probably makes as much noise as the AC unit. That said, let me take an infrared thermometer and take a reading as far as it's 115 degrees, coming out 64 degrees. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'll run this for a while. This is kind of neat because, I've got different ways to charge the battery, plenty of battery capacity now, and I don't have to worry about running out of juice. Okay, so I've been running this for a few minutes. I went ahead and put the exhaust covers, the insulated cover on the exhaust, being redundant because I'm kind of tired. It's about 100 degrees surface on it as opposed to 110, 115. But the cab is about 115 degrees. So it really makes a huge difference. And I've went ahead and put the window cover on. So it makes a big difference having this cover, this blackout insulated curtain up. And it's just a handy dandy blocking off the rest of the air, just using the case I have for the accessories for this rig, for the Wave 2 accessories. Works out well. So when I get that added hose, I'll be able to put the adapter here and just kind of pipe it up and over towards the sleeping area. But yeah, again, it's not going to make, with the sun beating down on it, this is suboptimal. The best case scenario for this is to run it in the evening, just to take the edge off. But it's worth having. And one thing also I didn't mention is the idea of using this unit also to as a supplemental air conditioner in case power goes out in the house. I've got generators. I can run this and another 5,000 BTU air conditioner, which is on incredibly efficient. I think it's 134A that it uses. It's not even a 410A yet, air unit. It draws minimal amps, 5 amps maybe, something like that. This AC amps is, that's even right. Yeah, DC amps is 30 amps, but I can't believe, yeah, I'm not sure how many amps this thing draws. Probably another 5 amps total. But yeah, I mean, the sun is like beating down on the van, and Like I said, it's in the cab, it's 115 degrees, and with the curtains and the insulated blinds on it. But yeah, you know, I'll run this for a while and see how it does.